The big story right now, Delhi's Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal will chair a meeting of Delhi's Disaster Management Authority at 12:30 this afternoon to decide on whether or not to ease the COVID restrictions that are in place in the national capital. The Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal will also be attending that meeting, which comes amid demands of lifting weekend curfew, the odd-even rule of opening shops, as well as reopening of schools. Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has already said the Delhi government will recommend the reopening of schools. He stressed that it has now become necessary to prevent further damage to the social and emotional well-being of children at a time when parents and health experts are also petitioning for schools to be reopened. Let's go across to my colleague Sonakshi joining us on that big story. Sonakshi, a key meeting. Delhi possibly has more restrictions than any other major city in the country right now, including a night curfew, a weekend curfew, a ban on dining in restaurants, and many, many others. But of course, primary among them being the fact that schools are still closed and kids are obviously suffering.
Well, absolutely, Ankita. At the moment, the national capital, Delhi, is seeing a lot of curbs and restrictions when it comes to COVID-19. There is a weekend curfew in place. There is also a night curfew in place. In addition to this, the schools have been shut for a longer period now. And also, the trader bodies continue to protest the odd-even rule because remember, the trader bodies, including shops, restaurants, and the hospitality industry, have been affected because of these curfews and curbs that have been placed by the Delhi disaster management in view of the rising COVID-19 cases. But Delhi has seen a drop in the number of COVID cases. The current cases at the moment in the last 24 hours have been reported over 7,000. This is a drop by over 50% in just the last 10 to 12 days in the national capital, and which is why today the Delhi disaster management will be meeting today this noon. The Lieutenant Governor and the Chief Ministers, of course, expected to be part of this meeting where they will further discuss if the curbs will be lifted in Delhi, whether schools will reopen in Delhi. Remember, the Delhi Chief Minister Manish Sisodia is of the opinion, and the Delhi government is of the opinion, that schools must reopen in the national capital because excessive caution right now, according to Mr. Manish Sisodia, is harming our children. And he says that an entire generation of children will be left out if schools don't reopen now. Yesterday, he met a group of parents who signed a letter. The letter was signed by over 1,600 parents who said and demanded that schools be reopened in the national capital. Even countries like Uganda have reopened, so why not Delhi reopen its schools? This is what the parents were suggesting. Of course, Mumbai, have in a city like Bombay, we have seen schools reopen. So even in the national capital, parents are demanding that schools be reopened for all classes with no mandatory criteria be put in place, because at the moment what they are concerned is the cognitive, the emotional and mental well-being of the children who have been really locked up for months now. So today at the DDMA meet, which is going to be conducted at about 12 to 12:30, we will know what Delhi will have on its cards, on its plates, whether these curbs will be lifted, whether schools will reopen, whether there will be more curbs in place. This is all a wait and watch till the meet is taken place today.
Right. Sonakshi, thanks so much for joining us with those details.